Okay, this is the course of study and impact on career planning and growth program. We believe that the time has come to really give enough information for parents and their wards to make informed choices as to the current trends in career pursuits and how we can position ourselves, maximize the field of work. And I have with me a very special guest. We way back that's primary and GHS. And then, the educational system has its own way of taking us to different places. And thank God for the power of media. We are back to tell us from his perspective how education and the choices he has made has really prepared him to pursue such a wonderful career he's doing currently. So, Sir Ben, I would like to call on you for a brief intro of yourself, and then we'll start.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lawson. Yeah, I've worried this man way back in school.
Seriously.
Okay, so I'm Benjamin Owusu-Ansah. I'm an IT consultant, and then I've worked in the IT field for close to 12 years with multinationals, actually delivering IT projects for all these years and then putting up systems. I currently love and I'm an enthusiast of cybersecurity. So I'm a basic cyber hygienist. I run a show on my YouTube channel, Benjamin Owusu-Ansah, titled Online Errors, that I do a lot of cybersecurity awareness to people. I'm also a professional master of ceremonies. I've handled a number of diplomatic events, and then I bring on board decorum to entertain and then smoothly run events to the satisfaction of my contractors and then my distinguished guests. I currently serve on the board as a coordinator for the Arts Legendary Wall of Fame, which is an award scheme that appreciates and awards Ghanaian arts and sciences students or personalities. So basically, that's Benjamin. That's Benjamin. Yeah, thank you.
This a path, I believe, 20, 30 years back, a parent or a student could not envisage start careers. I believe all we were thinking about is the banking, the nursing, the engineering field, the doctor, and all those kind of fields. So how has been your journey so far with the courses, especially what course did you study at SS?
Okay, so SS, I did pure science. I studied pure science, with that notion of becoming a medical doctor. Those were the appealing and pressuring kind of profession that was in the system. That I'm sure 20 years ago, or probably 30 years ago, if I mentioned to my parents that I wanted to become a professional MC, I'm not sure they would have even continued paying my fees to continue school. So I did pure science at the SS. I mean, basically that's what I did at SS. I did biology, I did physics, I did chemistry, and I did elective maths. Then I did other core subjects as well. Yeah, at SS.
So at the tertiary level, which course did you pursue?
Okay, tertiary, I did computer science.
Great. So in other words, the science you did at SS gave you the room to progress to computer science, and that's really shaped what you are doing currently in the IT field. I believe so.
Not really, because because I wanted to. That was my aspiration, to become a medical doctor first. So after SS, I needed to better some of my grades. You know, I needed to better some of my grades. And then this is what I did. Because I wanted to better some of the grades, I couldn't go straight into doing medicine or the other stuff. So I stayed home for some time in trying to better the grades. And then I continued to go and then do the computer science because I'm sure it wasn't really narrowed down to doing science before you could do the computer science. Actually, you could actually move from other fields and then do computer science. Yeah, but there's a story around me doing the computer science myself.
I'd love to hear that story because sometimes our aspirations doesn't manifest the way we desire it, and situation cause us to, you know, in God's divine way, He causes situations to direct us on the path of purpose and pursue.
Sure.
But sometimes we don't get this impulse from the beginning. So I'd love to hear that story.
Okay, so you know, went to SS, and the whole idea was, I mean, from childhood, way back in our days at primary school, I mean, I just developed the love for science. And then the whole thing was, I mean, the key professions that everybody who wants to hear his or her daughter or son pursue was to become the banker, to become the doctor, to become the pilot, to become the lawyer, and those kind of professions. So we were actually gravitated towards any of that. And for me, was a doctor. So after SS, well, when I went to SS, I went to do science because I said, hey, I want to become a doctor. You know, went to do science. Now after SS, that I wanted to move straight to university or tertiary. I said, oh, because I want to do pure medicine, my grades weren't that good, so let me better them so that I can get direct access into doing medical science or medicine. In the course of trying to better it, an auntie of mine was running an organization that links students to foreign universities. So she asked that I come and spend time at the center whilst I was preparing for the subjects or preparing for those exams. Yeah. And the funny thing is, anytime she comes to the office, I was supposed to be at the reception because she said I needed time to really get to know what I really want to do.
Great.
So there were a lot of courses and a lot of brochures there. So I could read through, run through. I was always reading through the kind of courses that were available at these universities. So anytime she would come to the office, she wouldn't see me at where she has asked me to be, but I'd rather be in the computer lab. Either I'm fixing something there or I'm learning something about the computers. So she monitored me for some time, and then once she called me and said, I'm not sure you're really into the medicine you intend to do. Because since you came here, I've not really seen you doing anything about that thing that you've been talking about. You know, she actually gave me some catalog of medical courses and all those things to be able to boost my confidence and morale in that. But I pushed them all out and I started doing something different. The moment anybody comes to the place and the person is having maybe a laptop or any gadget and there's a problem with it, I'm quick to assist that person. You know, and when we are sending documents over the internet those days, they were calling or falling on me to do that. So she said, I think maybe I should give you some time to try and explore this aspect also. And that was what actually landed me into my field. So after doing that, I just started developing that love, and then I was doing stuff with the computers, with computers at that time. And then I said, okay, let me pick up some courses in IT then. So we started with some short courses in IT, and there were times I just learned on my own certain things. So I go to the class and I'm just helping the instructor teach or do whatever he's supposed to do. Then it ended me in the tertiary level. So when I was about entering into the tertiary level, I just decided I want to go and do something about computer science, because then I just read an article that hinted that in some few years to come, IT was going to be the wheels on which all other industries are going to run.
Beautiful.
So I was like, oh, well, I wanted to be a medical doctor to help people when they are sick. But once this is going to be the wheels on which all other industries are going to run, actually, I'm still going to be that doctor there. I'm going to help people bring the ideas onto that IT platform and move their industry. So I just moved into that field, and to the glory of God, it has opened a lot of opportunities and a lot of doors for me now. Yeah. So that's the story around me moving to that
This
side.
story is so important that these are the realities we need when we want to pursue careers. One of the things I noticed is, one, you had the room for environmental exposure.
Exactly.
And that gave you room to really experiment different tools, to really, even you were doing it unconsciously.
Yeah.
Then two, there was a professional guidance, someone who was studying you to really help you identify the type of career or course you should study along your natural abilities and flair. And three, you said that you were able to even learn on your own. So learning now doesn't become a stress on you, thinking that, oh, you are learning for your parents or you are learning because they need you to go to school. But because you were able to identify the fact that this career field, this course of study is naturally along my area of passion and ability, learning was not a difficulty. Even on your own, you were able to learn. And I think for those listening, these are the very important ingredients we must understand and expose our children to. The need for environmental exposure, the need for professional guidance, to let them study courses within their natural flair. And that challenge of my child is not doing well in school, he's getting F and all those things will be a thing of the past, because the child will naturally enjoy learning because he sees him or herself in the learning process. Ben, this is very awesome. And so far, I've noticed that you are also into MCing. So you are not just behind the computer, but you are using the power of your skill in human relations. You are also able to use the power of the words to inspire. How are you able? Why were you able to blend this IT that is time consuming and mind consuming to the point that now you are also in the social environment where you express yourself verbally?
All right, I love you because I naturally I love people. Great. I love people, and then I always want to see people happy. Mm-hmm. That's me. I always, and you know it. Way back in school, the only thing I didn't want to see is somebody so moody or somebody sad. I will make sure I create something for the person to lighten up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in the field of my computer or IT field, I get into helping people with their work. When there is any desktop troubleshooting, I get into contact with people. Now, I realize that anytime I'm resolving any challenge, I always assure the people and make them feel that the challenge that they are having will be solved because I'm there. Beautiful. So it increased my confidence, one, to interact with people. And then two, it gave me some kind of, do I say, Superman kind of mindset. That once I get to the person and the person gives me the problem he or she is facing, I'm able to critically think through and then provide a solution. So my customer relation was developed at that point. I was able to know how to communicate with people. And then I always had to report to my supervisors. So I was able to understand the problem, and then I was able to communicate the exact challenge to my supervisor, whether it was solved or it wasn't solved. So in doing all that, my confidence really went up or shot high. So there was an event in our organization, and then they call on one of our communication experts to MC the event. Whilst I was sitting down and I was listening, I realized that I can do that. I can easily do this because it will flow naturally from my end. Because I realized the person who was doing it was having some challenges and discomforts. So after the event, I approached the person and I was like, but I always talk with you and you seem okay to chat with us. But why is that when you were handling the event, you were a bit careful, you didn't want to make mistakes? Yeah, that is the pressure that comes with public speaking. So then I heard that public speaking thing. I said, what is that public speaking thing this person talked about? So I started searching and diving deeper about the public speaking. And I realized that almost everything that has been said or been written, I do it. But I didn't know that is it. You see, I didn't know that is it. So this is what I started doing. When friends gather, that is me. I always stand up and I kind of welcome everybody that is coming and all that. So one day, a friend was about having her wedding. I planned the wedding with my friend, and we were expecting a professional MC to come and MC the event. But I think a week to time, she called that the MC is not able to come. So the best person to handle that event is me, because she had done all the planning with me. So no other person can do it better than me. I was like, no. Let's continue getting to the person. He will definitely come and do it. We tried, but it didn't work. And on that day, I had to do it. And when I started it, it was almost like I was just conversing with people I know. And it just flowed naturally, it flowed naturally. And when I had finished, I saw people coming all over, exchanging cards with me, that give me a call and let's put this thing together, do this. So I went, and that day I went with my wife. So when we finished, I asked her, what did I do that? He said, you MC. He said, you MC. And everybody was happy. I kept to time. I kept the program moving smoothly. I made sure everything that was in plan was executed, and everybody left there happily. So right after that, I said, oh, why don't I also look into this aspect and see what can come out of it? One event after the other, I kept building upon it. I kept learning from the mistakes I was doing. And today, here I am. I handle events, and then when I get dignitaries from different countries, ambassadors and the kind, nothing pushes me to feel intimidated in any way. Nothing at all, because it's just a natural thing, a natural gift that God gave me that I have discovered and I have skilled it, and now I'm able to just smoothly run it. Despite the number or the personalities available, I just follow the protocols and everything is in place. So that is what also brought this aspect of me up.
Very interesting. In whatever you said, there are two things I've noticed. One, talent and gift discovery is very important.
Sure.
You realize that you could do what your friend was doing, but he wasn't even doing it as he thought he was
Could
good
do.
at it.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. God then created an opportunity. God then created an opportunity. And that
Sure.
opportunity, as you step into it, it started opening more doors for you. Now,
Yeah.
did you ever thought of the monetary gains in it? You know, naturally in this field, they say, oh, Charlie, money no day inside. It's a doctor that, yeah, money day. It's the nursing and all that. Did you ever at a point wondered whether you really make a living out of this?
Sure. So it came up.
Hmm.
You know, it's part. It was part of it because at a point, I was investing more time in that. I was really investing more time in that because there were times within a week. Sometimes I could skip my lunch to just go and do about an hour lunch of a book, an hour lunch of company products, something of that sort. And it was all pro bono kind of stuff, you know. But I started realizing that it was actually taking a toll on me. So then the monetary aspect came in. So I spoke with a friend of mine who was then a professional MC.
Great.
So while I was speaking with him, I was asking him, so how do you do this? How do you combine both your work and then this one? Because when you start it becomes like a second job to you. So when I was speaking with him and he told him that, you know what, I'm just giving you some couple of months. When you are not so careful, it is rather going to become your first. And your current job will become your second. And I was like, how would that be possible? Then he started giving me his story. He was gainfully employed. But when he really saw that talent and started developing it, he actually had to stop his first-hand job and focused on this. So he told me, if really you are passionate and you see an opportunity in here, develop yourself more. So the monetary part, he advised me that initially you are not going to really do that. You are not really going to have a tag price. You might be doing free bonus stuff, and then when your act or your thing you're doing becomes on a demand, then you can now target with a price, because now people really don't see it as that. He currently is the presidential MC. He's the presidential MC. He handles presidential. He's Jerry Ajololo. He handles presidential events now. So he gave me that advice, and when I took it and I worked on it, the monetary aspect started coming in, and then I had to just now brand myself because of my branding and my packaging. When monetary parts come in, join our conversation for the client. I mean, you pay for the package you are coming in for. Yes, you pay for that one.
Great. I think this speaks much about discovering our talents and gifts and pursuing a career along that.
Yeah.
Has there been a point where you felt dissatisfied in what you are doing?
Both ways, or just a particular one?
No, with the emptying and then the IT, where you feel maybe you are not in the right field, your efforts are not being acknowledged, you are exerting too much energy but not receiving much. Aside the free, pro bono session where it's normal with such a new pursuit, not many people put value on talents in our part of the world. So with those initial challenges, after that, when you started, was there any point you felt dissatisfied and thinking that you pursued the wrong profession?
You know what? I'll just have to chip in this for you. You see, I've not, because
Great.
with the MC and then the IT, for me, it's interconnected. And this is why I'm saying that. This is what I'm saying. I've had events that I've handled that has opened IT doors for me.
Beautiful.
And I've had IT jobs that has opened MC jobs for me. So I see them as connected, because there was an event that I wasn't initially the MC.
Mm-hmm.
I was the projects coordinator for the IT infrastructure for the event.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go and supervise the IT setup for the event. Now, after doing that, I was then in direct contact with the coordinator for the event. So I was kind of chipping in ideas because I've been handling events. So I was chipping in ideas for that, because once you're the MC, you see, you are the master of ceremonies for everything that happens there. So everything that is happening during the event is actually under your care. So you're not just standing by the podium with the mic and then you are just giving the instructions. You're making sure the light is coming on when it's supposed to come, the music is supposed to play, the guest profile is on point, and you are reading exactly what you're supposed to read, and the person you are about inviting is ready to come on stage. Everything is in order. So you're actually thinking at your feet whilst you are standing by the podium and making sure everything is in order. So I was chipping in one or two ideas. Then all of a sudden he said, are you really an IT person or you're an event person? I went for a project interview, and apparently the project has some bit of social events attached to it. I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. So in the course of the interview and stuff, and then my other part came up. How I was able to communicate my ideas perfectly to them came up, and they were asking that, do you perchance do a lot of public speaking and stuff? And I'm like, it's a daily thing for me. It's a daily thing. So that even upped my profile, grading for that interview, and I got that project as well. So I've not regretted taking this path at all. Yeah.
This speaks volume of the need for talented. For me, where having discovered what you just said, I now really understand what was happening way back at school. Where in the socially oriented environment to express yourself on the feet rather than being in the street environment, and it's like you will not have really enjoy your career much as a doctor. What I'm saying that is the flair of speaking and interacting with people will be executed, and this will happen instead of really going into much details with your client. You'll be restricted to practical interaction with the clients, and that will really sit a lot of your talent idle. So very awesome how God orders our steps, even in what we think is life. Most often that's what God uses to direct us. But for we Christians, most often we think and then we start praying dangerous prayers. And that really even make us not see what God wants to do in the midst of that situation. Exactly. So what advice will you give to parents who are in the position of making choices for their children in terms of studying in line with their career path and all that?
Exactly. For me, the first of it all is as parents, we need to really pray. We need to really pray about the future of our children, because one, we didn't create them. God gave them to us. And God has a purpose for all of them. So parents need to invest a lot of prayers into their words. And in doing that, God, in his mysterious ways, will open our inner man's eye to see the things he's hidden in them. So we can advise and guide them to fulfilling those purposes. I once remember I went to school, my SS days, and then I went to involve myself in an athletic kind of inter-houses athletic games. I came out first. I came home and I showed it to my mother, and my mother was, you went in there to do this. You are supposed to be learning, not this. You understand? Yeah. But you see, during that time, I was training and we were practicing for the inter-houses athletics game. Something came up. I was the only one who was able to motivate our team during our training sessions, because we could see the other houses doing rigorous trainings and they were being served with good kind of, refreshment. Our house wasn't doing that. I was the only one who could stand and motivate them to look beyond that and go up to rehearse. So when I started moving into the MC and having a good communication and customer service with my clients, I steam it down to that side. Anytime I'm having a difficult client or having a challenge with customer services, that thing comes up. Anytime it comes up automatically. And I'm able to see how I was able to motivate my team to move on and forge forward to, scale over what we were seeing. So at that moment, when I came with that certificate, if my mom was to stand and say, good, go ahead, do that, do it aside with what you are studying, I'm sure I could have gotten that hit long before to pursue this career I find myself in. So parents, pray, God will direct you, ask God for wisdom, and then don't try to push what you didn't do or what you failed to do on your words or on your children. Let's uniquely identify what they have. What I'm seeing in my life now is those days, our primary school, I was always coming tops with this particular subject, life skills. I didn't know why. I was always first with life skills. So later, in the course of life, I was trying to find out what that course was composed of. Then I realized there was creativity in there.
Beautiful.
I realized there was communication in there. I realized there was self-employment kind of mindset in there. And I also realized that there was emotional intelligence in there. And I was always coming up tops. I realized that all these things were within me, but I didn't get the right coaching to be able to bring them out. So it's to explode and make me who God really intends for me to be. So for parents, I'll just say, we pray, we ask God for the direction, and then we'll see the uniqueness in our children, and God in His wisdom will direct us to help them bring it out. Yeah.
Beautiful. This is very awesome. It's very packed, and I think we'll continue more because there's a lot we need to really bring on board to enlighten parents, and not only parents, but educators and policymakers. And I want to appreciate you for your time. I've learned a lot, and this for me affirms why we need to give our children the right environmental exposure, the right professional coaching, and listen to them, observe them, rather than always restricting them. Just do this for me, and that's it. That kind of, our lifestyle has now become so isolated from a lot of things we really need to do to really discover ourselves. And such a great message from you. I believe parents will now start making the right decisions and the homework we need to do for their children. I really want to appreciate you for your time and for your rich journey so far. And we certainly will get in touch with you for another session. And I know you will make yourself available for us. Thank you for watching. For those viewing, this has been the Lordstone show. It is a segment to bring on board personalities that will share their experiences in terms of the courses they study at school, the careers they are pursuing, and what has been the journey so far, whether they are okay, what are the things they think they could have made right. And having spoken with our guests, I believe he got the right steps from the onset. And interestingly enough, that's what happened. We have this inclination of what we want to do, but without the right information and the guidance, we find ourselves in different fits and exploits, only to come back to that same fit again. Thank you very much once again. God bless you for.
Thank you. God bless you too.